Shalom Aleichem Rabbatai. Mishnah Yomi continues in the 9th parak of Shabbat at Mishnah Hey. We are back to Shiurim for Hotzah, for carrying items out into Reshut Rabim on Shabbat. What is the minimum required amount to be Chashuv and to be Chayiv D'Oraita? So we pick up on Mishnah 5 in 9th chapter. Motzi Eitzim, someone who takes out wood, like firewood. Kadei Levoshel Beitzakola, enough to cook a light egg. We've defined previously that is the chicken egg, which is easiest to cook. You just whip it up real quick, and it's, according to the Bartendura, just a grogeret worth, which is the standard food size on Shabbat. So it's maybe not even a whole egg, but a grogeret worth of an egg. Tavlin, spices. Kedei letobel beitzakala, enough spices to put on your one chicken egg. Mitzdarfin zeimzei, and spices join up. So if you have like a pinch of salt and a pinch of pepper, that might be enough for your egg. Klipe egozim, that's walnut shells. Klipe rimonim, or pomegranate shells. Istis, something called wood, and fua, madder. Kedei litzboa behen beged koton bisvocha, enough to dye with them the small part of the svacha. So all of these items are used to make dye, D-Y-E, and the shear is enough to dye the small middle part of a svacha. Now, svacha is like a hairnet, but it has like a woven fabric circle on the top that goes on top of the woman's head, and the rest of the hairnet it would go undyed or didn't need to be dyed, or was more like a stocking. But the part in the middle that was dyed, the amount of material you need to create that dye is the shear that is chayav chotzah on Shabbat. Mishnah continues, Mei Raglayim, which is typically defined as urine, though there was also apparently a spring called Raglayim because it was like between two palm trees. It looked like legs. Neter is a kind of mineral. The Bartner says is called alum, bilaz in a foreign language. Borit, soapwort, kimonia, which is not cinnamon here, which is sort of a chemical, as we're going to see, the eshlog, and eshlog is another chemical, enough to launder this small amount of fabric, which is on the middle of the hairnet, because these items, these chemicals, or these compounds were all used as a soap or a detergent for laundry. So if you have enough of them to do the laundry on one stained garment, that's considered important. It's enough to attempt to launder or to launder out a stain with that. Now, the ketem is actually something we've mentioned in the Smichas Chaver program, in the Halacha Lamaisa program, talking about a kesem, which is a ketem, which is a spot that might be dam. It might be dam nida, but because there's no accompanying flow, the sages were makel under certain situations that it was not considered dam nida. But one of the ways to determine if this ketem, this stain, which looks like blood, might be blood, is actually human blood, was to wash it with all of these detergents. So they would test it using all of these items, all these various detergents, and that way they could figure out if this spot, this kesem or ketem, was actually dam nida or not. Good, on to Mishnah Vav. Pilpelet, a peppercorn, kol shehu, any amount of peppercorn. We saw before it was used in the mouth for bad breath. Itran, which is tar, kol shehu, because it's used as medicine. Mine besamim, kinds of spices. Mine metachot, or a kind of metal. Kol shehen, any amount is considered important. The spices are used for besamim, for perfume, and the metal can be used as the tip for a prod to prod your animals, so even a tiny amount works for that. Me'avnei hamizbeach, me'afra mizbeach, from the stones of the mizbeach or the dirt of the mizbeach. So sometimes you had to replace the stones of the mizbeach. It's very interesting because we're about to come on to Hanukkah, and one of the things that the Maccabees, the Hashmonaim, had to do after the Nebuch, the Greeks, the Ovdei Avodah Zarah, and the Nebuch, the apostate Jews who were with them, after they went and defiled the temple and the Mizbeach, they had to rebuild the Mizbeach and the menorah and make a new Mizbeach. And what do you do with the old stones of the Mizbeach? Those have chashivas to them. So this Mishnah mentions it. The stones of the Mizbeach, the dirt of the Mizbeach, mekek sefarim, which is kind of decomposing holy scrolls, scrolls that are in the Geniza. mekek mit pechoteim, or the decaying covers of these scrolls, kol shehu, any amount, shematzniyanatan legonzan, because you put them away to put them in geniza as a respectful storage. So any amount counts. So if someone's hauling a Sefer Torah or a Sidur to be buried appropriately or to be put into geniza in a respectful way, and one little scrap falls out that has kedusha, so that needs to go along with it. Yehuda Omer, he adds on, Af hamotzi mishamshe avodas kochavim, even someone who carries out an accessory to avodah zara, even not just an idol itself, but something that's offered to the idol or used with the idol, koshu, any amount. So any amount is considered important. He cites a pasuk to support his opinion. Shenamar v'lo yidbak biyadcha me'uma min hacherem. Let not cling to your hands anything, me'uma, anything at all, from the banned items, from the avodah zara items. Shkayach rabosai, sei gesund.